Jazzcast Pros.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Getting Real with Bossy, the podcast that shows you what it's actually like to be a business owner.
Woo woo. Hey, Kelly.
Hello, Kelly. How are you? Are you excited for today?
I am. This is one of my new favorite topics.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So today we're going to talk about the lies that we tell ourselves as small business owners.
So many lies.
So many. So this is an article that I've worked on. I know Kelly's worked on as well. And I think we're just going to turn it into a jumbo article at the end of this because there are so many things we could talk about. But I see it every day. You see it every day. I do it every day, scrolling and scrolling. And I think this is where the lies, especially in business ownership, start for me, looking at these businesses that are thriving, these perfectly curated photos, bustling restaurants, packed events, sold out items, these confident entrepreneurs sharing latest wins, growing teams, newest locations. And then there's me sitting in the back of the office of one of several businesses that struggles, trying to remember if I ate lunch, if payroll went through, or if I even responded to an email in the last 3 days. And the lies just creep. They just keep creeping and creeping and creeping. And I sometimes don't know how to stop them. And it's very frustrating for me because I do have a background in therapy. So as I'm letting these intrusive thoughts come in, I'm like, hello, you're trained at this. You spent years.
You know better. You know better.
Evidence theory, like, hello. If you came to me, Kelly, do you have evidence of this? Is it true? Yeah, I know these things, but it just doesn't stop that everybody is more successful. Nobody is struggling like me. I'm just winging it. And it's not even imposter syndrome anymore. I think for me, the pandemic kind of obliterated imposter syndrome. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel like I'm the only one who feels the way I feel so often.
Well, and as small business owners, the face we put forward has to be positive. It has to be everything is going great. And we've talked about this in other episodes. Nobody wants to hear about our struggles. No, so it's the social media problem. It's that everybody's looking and showing their best and the amazingness and the perfectly cropped and perfectly curated, but they're not showing you the failures, right? So you feel like you're the only one that's having these failures. And it's really hard because you have to walk into work. You have to have your morale high. You have to go on social media and have your morale high. You have to talk to your employees and have your morale high, or else it brings everybody down. And that's exhausting. And then you go home and you go on social media.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's gotten a little bit better. And I think we're noticing people being a little bit more honest about how things are going, which is wonderful. But how do you combat that, letting those intrusive thoughts in when it is literally a part of your job to lie? Like, you have to, because yes, people can be listening right now and go, no, we love it when you let us know you need help. Sure. Every day. Cause I need help every day. I'm struggling. Like, this is not easy. And it's, we got a whole other article here about how we're going to, survive the quademic or whatever it is that's coming our way. Or I don't even want to talk about that, but like, how do you combat it when it is literally a part of your, like, I have to let lies happen. It's part of my job. So how do I stop it from the ones that really are becoming intrusive and affecting my daily life? Because at the end of the day, I've done this long enough to know that this is a roller coaster. We've built, we've pivoted, we've survived a pandemic, and yet the doubt still will always come in. And
I'm not good enough for this. I'm not worth this. It's my fault when I fail, but it's not my fault when I am successful, right? Like, we're the first people to blame ourselves for a failure or event that doesn't go well, or, a new recipe item or whatever it may be, a product that you're selling that doesn't go as well as you want it to. But we're also the last people to be like, you did this. Mm-hmm. You did this. This is all you. All those little things you've been doing all these years created this moment.
Right. And it's really true. We had an event last weekend I'm not sure when this will air, but it was the first time we had live music in, and it was a snowstorm. And I was like, it's gonna be horrible. And all night, like, it was fantastic, amazing. Whole upstairs completely sold out. People were standing on the stairs to listen to music. And I was like, this is amazing. I need to look at their crowd, look what they bring in. And I'm like now that you're saying this, I'm like, I mean, this is my friend. I brought it. Like, this is my space that I built that was comfortable. This was my staff. Now which did a great job, but like some of this is on me too. Like, why don't we take that? I don't know.
Or the Google reviews.
Oh my.
They're like, you're right. This person does suck. This recipe item is awful. And then I'm like, no, it's actually really good.
Right.
Or like the first thing I try to do is make sure things are getting made right. And I go in and I eat it and be like, no, you just don't like it. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to like it, but you also don't need to leave a Google review because you didn't like it. Like, there's plenty of places I've eaten things that I didn't like, and I'm not going to go online and talk about it. Plenty of people do like it. So why would I think that my taste is what everybody else wants?
Why is it that just because you don't like it means that it's wrong? I mean, that's something that we certainly had to reframe in our heads when we opened the union, because so many people wanted something that was very specific that was no longer a viable business, or it wouldn't be changing. And it's a point of like, it's like we had to train everybody, like, just say these words. I understand it's not what you hoped for, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, it's just meeting everybody's expectations is impossible. Let that lie go, everybody. Let that lie. There's no everybody's way. No, you cannot be something for everyone.
No,
I mean, okay. finding your avatar, finding your person, that's all important work. But at the end of the day, if somebody comes in, you're going to want to make that customer your next favorite guest, your next regular. But not everybody is going to be into what you're doing. That's fine. So let that lie go.
I had a night this past weekend that I was at work, and everybody was just, we weren't slammed, but we had a bunch of big parties coming in, and everybody just seemed to be celebrating and having a great time. And it was just so nice to see. Like, everyone just seemed to be out to have fun. And I was like, I feel like it's been so long since I was surrounded by that many people that just wanted to have a good time. And then I wake up in the morning and somebody left me a 1-star review because these 3 ladies were drinking at the bar and were too loud. And I was like, well, you could have sat somewhere else, not next to them. You went and sat at the bar because you wanted to hang out with your friends, and they left and didn't even finish their drinks. And I'm like,
so they gave you a 1-star review because your bar was being a bar?
Because my bar was being a bar. And like, here I was like feeling really good about what we've been trying to do, and like seeing the benefits and the effects of all the hard work. And like, this is just, we want the restaurant to just be a fun place again, right? And then I wake up the next morning, and then I was like, oh, well, yeah, look at that. Like, we lost this customer, and I'm like down on myself. And I went to reply to the review, and then I was like, I erased the reply. I was like, you know what? Anybody who reads this review and is like, yeah, I shouldn't go there, shouldn't come. So I'm just going to leave it, because if you don't want to have fun, don't come in.
Exactly.
And they were like women that were like a little bit younger than us. They were bitching about their spouses and their families, and I'm having a great time. And I was like, these women deserve this day.
Exactly.
Like, I am not going to make them shut up. I was there. They were not, I mean, they were loud, but they were not like awful.
That's it. You're going out in public. The second you step out of your door, you no longer have control of your environment.
Yeah. But it's been really hard to not let customer reviews affect my feelings about myself as a business owner.
Right.
So I think that's a lie I let myself tell myself. Is that they're right. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're not always right.
It's just an opportunity to put those really good keywords into your response.
Yes.
And let everybody know, I'm so sorry you did not enjoy your bar experience at a bar. You will always find this wonderful with our happy hour specials, and list them all right there. Yeah. And you can just turn it into a whole advertisement.
If you come in at like noon, it's way quieter.
Right, exactly.
What are some lies you're telling yourself, Kelly?
I think just kind of what stems around the fear of not knowing. And it's something that we touch on in business all the time. I don't know what I'm doing, because how many times, I don't know, in the last week, have you Googled, how do I do this? Like, there's just so many things that come up in entrepreneurship, running a business, whether it's brick and mortar, or if you're just your own person doing your own job off of your computer, stuff comes up all of the time. And there's no handbook on how to be a business owner. Maybe, I'm going to write that down. I think we're going to write one. It'll be ever changing.
Love it.
It'll be online, so we can continue to make money off of it. Yes, we're going to do the business owner's handbook. I love it. I'm writing it down.
I'm writing it down too.
Wonderful. But I think that's a huge lie that we tell ourselves, that everybody knows what they're doing. I promise you, I would bet money, if I had any, that if anybody wants to match my bet, feel free, reach out.
$1.
Yeah. That every business owner has Googled or YouTubed how to do stuff. Like, you just have to do weird shit. Like,
yeah.
And it has to happen.
I like when people ask me at work, they're like, "Oh, this is broken." I'm like, "Okay, let's see." There was a printer broken the other last week, and I went out and I was like, it's not printing. It has paper.
Right.
I unplugged it. I counted to 10. I flipped it upside down. I shook it. I blew in it because I'm a child of the 80s. And I put it all back together. And guess what?
It worked.
It worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I high-fived my employee. And I was like, there you go. I have no idea what I just did.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I did nothing. But it's fixed.
Yeah.
And they were so excited that it was fixed that I got a high five. And I was like, sweet. I'm not an electrician. I don't know why this printer is not working.
Right. I think that lie is huge. And what we need to do is remind ourselves that everybody's going through this and nobody knows everything. There are wonderful things like Google and YouTube out there that will show you how to fix a door handle for the bathroom. Because also, I think part of this is like some of these things happen just throughout your day, but the really big ones happen at 7:00 on a Friday night. Like nothing ever goes wrong with our POS 11:00 on a Tuesday.
Nope.
It just is not the case.
Never.
So it's being able to, like, in those moments, keep calm. And I remember going back to also what you said about reviews. I remember Marshall Street got a horrible, I think it was Yelp, because it was long drawn out, about like this horrible customer service during a huge football game where the POS just went completely down and we were packed. And it must have been the Bills and it must have been a playoff game. This was years and years ago. It was our old system. And I was rude because they're yelling for things. And I'm like with customer support with, I don't even remember the name of the program, and trying different things. And then I have to test stuff to the kitchen. So I'm yelling back to the kitchen to see if they got it. And they're yelling for stuff. And I'm like, I cannot, like, do I not look stressed out? Like, nothing is working. I cannot take your money. And there are like 120 people in this restaurant right now. I can't. And I think that's, we got to calm ourselves down in those moments. And remember, this is like, nobody has all of these answers. No business owner knows how to fix everything in their space.
No, not at all. But
and I think
we're going to do it. I mean, it's great if you have a maintenance person that actually responds really quick, but usually those things take time. So you have to figure it out in the meantime while you're waiting.
Right. Yeah. It's such a...
As the owner, you're expected to know everything. So that's the really hard part, is we know internally how much we don't know.
Right.
And I think that leads to why we feel so inept innately, is because while we are facing forward with all of the lies that everything's great and we know what we're doing and we show that we're strong, capable, because we are, you have to be, internally, we know that at any given point in time, someone's going to ask us a question that we don't know the answer to. And we just have to wing it, which just never feels good to wing it.
No.
I do it all the time.
Right.
But it doesn't feel good.
All I'm doing is validating my family's ability to send me to college for my theater degree. I know how to do this. I can make you feel great about this. I
had posted this question, and I'm just trying to pull it up to see what some of the other answers were. But go ahead. What's your next one?
Oh, no, I was saying, I think for me, the other like big lie is that, it's just the loneliness. It's so isolating. It's so isolating. We talk about it so often, to be a business owner. And the weight of responsibility is so heavy, and it just weighs on our mental health. And I don't think anybody who is a business owner, I feel like also business ownership and mental health like just go hand in hand. Nobody terribly sane ever does this. Not that we're not sane, but it just starts to weigh on it. And, everybody's looking to us for the stability, whether it's our staff or our customers, and they expect that consistency. And it's a lot of pressure to keep things running. And that lie that we just have to always keep going. And I think sometimes we have to acknowledge that it's okay to take a break and admit that we're exhausted, and tell our staff, you just have to figure this out for the next 3 days. And I think you've talked about it before about letting go and letting staff kind of take on responsibilities. As long as it's getting done, it may not be the way you want it. It may not be the best way, but it's getting done. We have to start taking care of ourselves because it's going to get harder. Stay tuned for a future episode where we talk about what's going on in our world, and how it's going to affect small businesses for what we've learned in the last couple of weeks. But it's going to get difficult, and we have to use our village. And if you have to shut down for a week or a day or an hour or a lunch or whatever, shut down and say, we all need a break. We've done that before. We did a pajama night one night. Everybody was exhausted. It was a Friday night. I'm like, I can't not. I mean, I can, but like, do you feel like let's just have fun. And we did pajama day, and everybody wore pajamas to work.
I love that.
And some of our staff our customers thought we were crazy. And some said this is really unprofessional. And I said, okay, we're really comfortable. And it's boosted our morale. And we had a really fun night with it. And we were just like, this is how we're going to help. But it's okay to be exhausted and say you're exhausted, and redesign your business for a day or a week is not going to change your trajectory.
No,
nobody's going to care. If you may get some comments online, there may be a Facebook post if you're in a town like mine that has 19 neighborhoods.
1-star Google review.
Make it a 1-star Google review. But at the end of the day, it is not going to change anything other than letting your staff know that you care and that mental health is a priority. So I think that is a lie. We need to stop that one in its tracks.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes from, I just need to work harder. Like that, We've been told, like, if I build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. Right? Great movie. Makes me cry every time. But
of course.
It's like, okay, well, if I build it, they will come. They didn't come. I just need to work harder. They didn't come. Well, at what point in time do you say, this didn't work? And that's okay. It's not failure, right? I've been trying to, over the past couple of years, you guys have heard me try to adjust my verbiage. It's not failure. It's a learning experience. You tried it. It may not have been the right time. It may not have been the right people. If it doesn't work, it's okay. And you don't just need to work harder. I remember when we closed down Rice, sitting in the kitchen with Aaron, and he was like, we can't keep doing this. Like, we're out of everything. I was like, no, like, it's going to work. We just need to do another month. We just need another month. Just need another month. And he was like, we will lose everything. And I was like, but no, we just need another month. And I think that that's another lie that we tell ourselves, is that it will work out. And that just creates lower mental health, more stress, more self-blame, more self-doubt. And it's not you that didn't work, right? It's that it didn't work with the surroundings you're in. Maybe it'll work in a few years. Maybe it'll work in a different location, right? Like, it's not you.
Right.
You didn't fail. The idea did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a huge one, that whole idea of failure. Like, how many times has things just not worked out in your regular life? And you move on. Like, it's no big deal.
If your car breaks down the third time, you start looking for new cars.
Right. I think we need to start treating business. I mean, it's just, stuff just doesn't work out sometimes. And I think us as women take that pressure on a little bit harder as natural fixers. But we have to do better about not listening to that lie and saying, no, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to move on. And maybe in a couple weeks, put it on a big whiteboard, do your pros and cons, what worked, what didn't. And maybe then you can kind of hash out what you could do differently if you want to try it again in the future, or what you could have learned from this experience. But it's not failure. There's no, when you fail in business is like when you lie and cheat and you're a dick. Like when you cheat and you treat your employees poorly, or
depends on your what you say is failure, because financially those people tend to do a little bit better.
True, that's true. But I mean, like getting caught. But I mean, like that's business is ending. Business is ending is just part of life. Relationships end. This is just another relationship in our lives. Not all great stories are novels.
Well, and as natural caretakers, we also take on the fact that we are, for those of us that have employees or that are selling a product to people that are using it regularly, like you have that, what are these people going to do? Well, guess what? They're going to move on.
Yeah.
They might stop using your product next month. The employee may quit tomorrow. Like, you can love them and care for them and do the best you can while the business is open and successful. But when it's not, you have to be able to cut that for everybody's well-being.
Right.
So I think that as women, we definitely do take on a little bit more of the lies. I'm sure that men are listening, because we have some amazing male listeners that can attest that they also have the same lies going through their heads. I just think that as, the expected caretaker in society, we carry a little bit more of the effect of our decisions on other people.
Right.
So yeah. Welcome to spring in Rochester. Stop telling lies to yourself, Kelly.
Don't do it.
Pretty soon, those tiny little flowers that my kids hate that I take pictures of are going to start popping through the snow. And that's going to be our sign to make change. Stop doing it.
And I think the lies are going to come whether you want them to or not. If you just have to come at them in the moment and get them out. So figure out what that is, whether that's meditation, taking a break, whatever you need to do. Maybe that's the next thing. We got to find somebody. If you're out there, listeners, and you have some great techniques on how to combat these lies in the moment, because again, a lot of them don't come when it's convenient. We would love to hear from you.
I have an idea on how to end this episode.
Okay.
You're going to roll with me, and if it doesn't work, we're going to cut it.
Okay, I love it.
All right.
So you'll never know.
For the last, 23 minutes on the dot, y'all have been thinking about the lies that you tell yourself, whether they're the same lies or different lies. So I want you to pick a lie, and I want you to close your eyes, and you're going to go to your favorite place outside, and you're going to sit somewhere comfortably, and you are going to look up in the sky, and there's going to be a fluffy white cloud, and you're going to take that lie, and you are going to insert it into that cloud. And then we are going to spend 30 seconds of quiet watching that cloud drift away, taking the lie with it.
Love it.
All right, here we go. Put that lie in your cloud and 30 seconds of drifting away. All right, your cloud should be off in the distance. That lie should be with it, and you are an amazing person, no matter how successful your idea or your business is. And we are excited to see you next time on Getting Real with Bossy. So be bold,
be brave,
and be the boss.
Be the boss.